Hi guys, it's Darlene and welcome to my channel. Alright, today we are going to be going to the grocery store, so we're taking a field trip. Yay! Not really, I hate the grocery store. But let's go ahead and go. We're gonna do some low carb shopping. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite foods. So without further ado, let's go. So before we head to the grocery store, if you haven't seen my first video, I will list it here. I did tell you that I would give you some tips and tricks along the way to make things easier for you, because this is all about things being easy. One of the tips that I gave you in the last video was about Keto Stick. Keto Sticks looks like, you can get the generic brand, Walgreens has a generic brand, and on the bottle you will see a range from a pale nude all the way to a dark. When you're in ketosis, you're in these colors here. What is ketosis? Let me just start by saying it's a natural process that happens. It's a metabolic process. And what it does is, if your body doesn't have enough carbohydrates to burn for energy and fuel, then it burns fat. So when you're in ketosis and you pee on the little stick and it shows that nice bright purple color or pink color, that means that your body is burning fat instead of carbohydrates because you are not eating carbohydrates. So this is a great motivational tool. Now let's talk grocery shopping. I go through the grocery store the same way each and every time. Section. I hit the produce section first. So let's talk about produce really quick. You're through that 2-week induction phase, then spaghetti squash is something you can have, and this is a great substitute for pasta. It's not like broccoli where it doesn't have hardly any carbs. This does have carbs. It's about 8 carbs for 1 cup of cooked spaghetti squash. 1 cup to cooked spaghetti squash is a lot. So in my mock version of pasta, I have a lot of great things in there that don't have any carbs, like ground beef and onions and peppers and heavy whipping cream. Yes, I know, this recipe is really, really good. So anyways, this is great. Be very careful because there's no nutritional label on here. If you got this is great, but if you get a butternut squash, it has 16 grams of carbs. So be very careful with things that don't have labels. Know before you go. We've talked about cauliflower, and one of my favorite things is cauliflower puree. They have a new cauliflower out that resembles kind of like rice. So this would be great to do a rice dish, mock rice. My favorites is the broccoli slaw. That recipe will be at the end of this video, so if you're interested in how I make my broccoli slaw, and it's delicious, guys, and very, very low in carbohydrates. Avocados are great, asparagus, cabbage, those are all wonderful vegetables. Mushrooms, spinach, Creole mix. I like things to be easy. That's another thing, convenience, guys, convenience. This is already julienne. This is already chopped. The Creole, which has the green and red peppers, the onions, and it has parsley. Love it. So good. If you're past the 2-week induction phase, you can start adding carbohydrates. It's up to you. You guys, this is what's great about this diet. As long as you're in ketosis, eat what you want. However, let me just say, just because this is low carb does not mean eat as much fat as you want. Please try and make healthy choices, like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna eat a pound of bacon even though I can, right? We're not gonna eat a pound of bacon. We're gonna be healthy. So low fat, low carb as best we can, okay? But fats are wonderful. They keep us healthy. Strawberries are great, and pretty much any kind of berry. Now the reason I picked up strawberries today is because I'm gonna do chocolate dipped strawberries for my neighbors for Valentine's Day, and of course from my family. And I am allowed strawberries. Now chocolate of course, we can't have a whole lot of chocolate, but if you dip 1 strawberry or 2 strawberries and you cover them in walnuts, which you are certainly able to have, they're very minimal. Don't deny yourself, guys, but I'm just gonna say, if you have a choice between taking a piece of candy or having a chocolate dipped strawberry, choose the strawberry, because at least the sugar in the strawberry is a natural good sugar versus a, you know, with candy, a bad sugar. And just put, maybe not even dip it, just drizzle across the strawberry, sprinkle a few nuts on there, and you're good to go. Dairy section. This is where we have a lot of great stuff. So Kroger has a low carb yogurt, as I'm sure most grocery stores do. This is called Carb Masters. This is the best one that I have found as far as how many carbs are in them. They have approximately 5 carbs. So many flavors, it's kind of crazy. They have like 30 different flavors. And these are not to have in the induction phase, because some of you just might be joining me now and you might go, okay, I'm gonna start. Then that's great. Watch the first video, but I'll let you know as we go through things if you should be, you know, having these during the induction. But 5 carbs, even though it doesn't sound like a lot during the induction phase or the first 2 weeks, you want to stay under 20 carbs. So you see 5 carbs, that's kind of a lot in the beginning. Salad dressing, this is where they get you, guys. You've got to read every label with regards to salad dressing, and I'm showing you here an example of a salad dressing. They can range from 8 carbs, 10 carbs, 12 carbs to 1 carb. This is why I choose, and this is Marzetti Simply Dressed. The majority of their salad dressings have anywhere from 1 to 2 carbs. That's wonderful, where you could be choosing a salad dressing that has 8, and they could both say ranch dressing, and this one will have 8 because they've added sugar to it. So be very careful with salad dressing. Cottage cheese. Now I'm going to show you an example here. Cottage cheese, again, you think, oh, any kind of cottage cheese is going to make a difference. Okay, guys, we are low carb, not necessarily low fat. So when you see things that say low fat, be very, very cautious. Look at the back, and more than likely you'll see it's high in carbs. If they're taking out fat, they're putting something in, and it's sugar. For instance, I think this one was 2 carbs, and I think the one I'm showing you is 6 or 7. I don't know. I'm split screening it, so I don't remember. But it was close to twice as much. Cream cheese, another great thing. This is, again, 2 carbs, 2 tablespoons. One of my favorite things to do is make my little salami snacks with this, and next week I will be doing snacks, so if that's of interest to you, I will have a whole bunch of my favorite snacks next week. Oh, cheese is a beautiful thing. Pretty much whether you have it, my husband likes these, they're all cut up little squares because he takes them to work. I like them too because they're fast and easy to take. So whether it be this kind of cheese or this kind of cheese or this kind of cheese or mozzarella cheese, it's all 0 carbs. There's no carbs in cheese unless they've added something else to it. In the beginning, it's a little hard because you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to look at every label. Yes, in the beginning you do, but after that, you'll just know. It'll just become habit. It'll be part of your shopping. You won't even think about it. The thing that's important, guys, is definitely eat. You have to eat, okay? Our body does need fuel, and you have to eat. And that's the great thing about this diet, is you can eat. Now, I mentioned intermittent fasting, and I want to just tiny bit briefly touch on that. All that means is that I eat during specific periods of time to give my body enough time to digest, process, and rest. You don't have to do the intermittent fasting. I'm just telling you what I do in order to try and keep my body healthy. The meat section. You don't have to think too much in the meat section, which is why I like it. Although there are hidden carbs in some stuff. Anything that's processed, meaning like sausage, hot dogs, things like that, you have to be very careful. Italian ground sausage, depending on what they're doing, there's carbs in it. Old-fashioned filet mignon or a ribeye or New York or whatever, beautiful chicken breast, no carbs. So that's what a gift. This is is the only place I can find Columbus Italian dry salami, and this is the kind of salami we have in California. It's the best. So I'm gonna pick up 2 of them. And then I actually bought this last week, and these are really, really good. So I'm going to buy. Okay, so I'm going to make a mock pasta dish. So I need ground meat. I love Laura's lean beef. It's 96% lean. Just because we're on low carb does not mean that we need to like load up on fat. And let's talk about treats. Okay, last week I talked about sugar-free Jell-O and whipped cream. This week I'm going to talk about Atkins bars. Again, the sugar-free Jell-O and whipped cream you can definitely have in the induction phase, because sugar-free Jell-O has 0 carbs, whipped cream has less than 1 carb for 2 tablespoons. In the first video, if you're just joining us, in the first video we discussed carbs, total carbs and net carbs. Total carbs are everything that's a carbohydrate. Net carbs are what we're interested in, because we can deduct dietary fiber and we can deduct sugar alcohol or any of those related things like sugar alcohol. So Atkins bars has things like sugar alcohol. Like, I cannot read this. The print is getting so small. Okay, so the dietary, so the total carbs on this is 17 carbs. And I know you're going, what? 17 carbs? We can't have that. You're right. You can't have it unless there's deductions. And there are. The deductions are dietary fiber, which is 6, sugar alcohol, which is 9, which gives you 2 carbs. And they're pretty good. I hope you enjoyed coming with me. I was planning on vlogging through the grocery store, but I don't like people staring at me. This felt so uncomfortable. I was like, no, I don't think so. This was how I go about shopping. The really big part of this that I want you guys to get is there's so much food to choose. There are tons of alternatives for things that we cannot have. Guys, I know you can do it. We can do it together. Let me go ahead at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the recipe for the broccoli slaw, which is the bomb. This one is a very simple recipe, broccoli slaw. The net carbs in this is 2 carbs for 1 cup of slaw. Yay! Is broccoli and carrots. It's just that they've done the work for you and julienne them very fine. We're going to use mayonnaise. I also mix a little sour cream in there for a little bit of tang. These are both awesome. Mayonnaise has less than 1 carb, and the sour cream has 1 carb for 2 tablespoons. So I'm gonna just do this by eyeballing it. I do not recommend that if you are starting out. I've mentioned this before. Sour cream, I'm gonna put maybe just 1 tablespoon to begin with. I wanna see the consistency. I forgot one thing. And y'all know, I love my apple cider vinegar. Instead of apple cider vinegar in here, you guys can't see my bowl at all. So in the bowl, we have the slaw, which is the broccoli and carrot slaw. We also have the mayonnaise, and we also have the sour cream. And I also sprinkled in some apple cider vinegar. Now, we are going to salt this, and you're also gonna want lots of black pepper, a little toss. And then what I'm gonna do is put this in the refrigerator, and if you've ever made homemade coleslaw before, you know that as it sits, it just gets better. The other thing that I love, snip in some green onions, and I just love the flavor of green onions. I'm gonna give a little taste test. There's the final product, guys, and this is so good. It's excellent as a side dish or as a nice little lunch. You could put some chicken on here, and that would make a very, very good meal. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the recipe and the shopping with me for low carb. If you are subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you so very much. I will put all these low carb videos in a playlist to make it easy for you all. And if you are not yet subscribed and you want to start a low carb diet and these videos are of interest to you, just hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And every week I will upload a video, and each week I will also have a recipe in that video. So guys, I hope you have a great day and a healthy one. We'll see you next week. Bye.